Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the place where you get edified with yours truly, Dr. Eddie, best-selling author and empowerment speaker. Come on, how you doing? How you living? How's it going? What's happening? I hope you're doing well. Listen, I want you to make sure that you join my social circle. What do I mean? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and we don't stop. Connect with me now. Go ahead, at Eddie Connor JR. I want to see you in my social circle. Let's connect there. And check this out. I hope that you join my Academy family community. It's the place where the love resides through faith, identity, relationships, speaker training, financial empowerment. I can go on and tell you so much more. But I will tell you that you can go ahead and get registered and join right now. DrEddieAcademy.com. Join the family today. I want to see your face in our digital community space. All right. Listen, let's get right into it. I want to talk today about 4 tips to improve any relationship. Yes, 4 tips to improve any relationship. Because check this out, relationships matter. You know, relationships matter. And I'm not just talking about on a romantic level. I'm talking about with business. Your network determines your net worth. Of course, your family, your friends, your loved ones. Got to do relationships right. And I want to give you 4 tips to improve any relationship. And it's all about building healthy relationships and connections. Number 1, you got to learn to forgive. Listen, people are oftentimes going to hurt you maliciously, and then also not even premeditated. Certain things are just going to happen in life, right? Sometimes people can speak to you harshly. Sometimes some things can happen rashly. These main ingredients I want to give you, number 1 is learn to forgive, right? Because a lot of times when we're holding on to bitterness, we're not bettering ourselves as a result of it. You can't get better by being bitter. In order to live, you got to forgive. If you're going to really live, you got to forgive. You got to forgive the person who mistreated you. You have to appropriate God's forgiveness in your life. But hear me, you got to forgive yourself. And the forgiving of yourself is sometimes what we have allowed to happen. A lot of times we've allowed people to mistreat us. Here it is, simply because we have not given people a blueprint of how to treat us by the way we have treated ourselves through the right lens of love. We have shown people how to mistreat us because we've mistreated ourselves. We didn't have any boundaries. We didn't have a barometer. We didn't have a foundation, right? And when you don't have any boundaries, listen, people can just do any and everything. You got to have a standard. You got to have principles. You got to have values for how you live your life. If you don't know what you want, somebody's going to decide what you get. And forgiveness moves you forward. A lack of forgiveness keeps you backward. Forgiveness causes you to progress. A lack of forgiveness and bitterness causes you to regress. And matter of fact, it'll even cause you to be stagnant. You won't even be able to make any moves, right? Because now your body is affected. Now because of a lack of forgiveness, everything is psychosomatic. What goes on in the mind now affects the body, right? Forgiveness is for your mental health. Forgiveness is going to help you with that anxiety. Forgiveness is going to help you to mend relationships. Forgiveness is going to help you to stop bleeding on people who didn't even cut you. Forgiveness is going to cause you not to look through your lens of life at people from a place of suspicion. Right? You want to guard your heart, but you don't want to be suspicious so much to where you build walls, but you don't build bridges. Forgiveness allows, yes, you to apologize, but also to receive other people's apology so that you can move on and live your life on another level. We're talking about 4 tips to improve any relationship. Right? Number 2, free yourself from emotional baggage. I've said before, relationships are like boarding an airplane. Too much baggage is going to cost you. Rather than you being able to soar on wings as an eagle or soar in your favorite flight. I don't know if it's Delta for me. I don't know if maybe you own Spirit or not. It just seems like it might be the wrong Spirit. But in order for you to literally soar, you got to free yourself from emotional baggage. What do I mean by that? Some people you just got to love from a distance, right? The things that are weighing you down, you got to take inventory of. You know, the hurt that you've been holding on to from mom or daddy, people who you thought were going to heal you and help you, but wound up hurting you and harming you. You got to let go of that baggage. Erykah Badu talked about bag lady. You going to hurt your back carrying all them bags. It's weighing you down. You can go to scripture, say, lay aside every weight and the sin that doth so easily beset you. The weight of life. You're not going to be able to run through life like Usain Bolt. Listen, you're going to be moving like a turtle. You're going to be moving like a tortoise. Life is going to pass you by because you continually hold on to baggage that you need to let go of. Sometimes we're holding on to people who have let us go. If COVID-19 has taught us anything, midst of all the paralysis of this pandemic, the precariousness of this pandemic, it has taught us that a lot of times certain people are asymptomatic to what they caused us, but we're the ones affected by it. COVID-19 has taught us anything is, can you touch somebody without touching somebody? Can you be there without being there? Can you literally touch somebody's heart without using your hands? Matter of fact, can you social distance not only for somebody else, but for your own survival? Social distance yourself from what's keeping you sick. Social distance yourself from what's keeping you stressed out. Right? It may not be a cough, it's calamity. Right? It may not be a sneeze, but it's causing you to suffer in silence. You got to do inventory of your life. And then also you got to keep your emotions in check. Hear me, emotions can wreck your life. Vivian Green, R&B singer, talking about emotional roller coaster. Loving you ain't helping me. Right? Sometimes you're overextending yourself. You're crossing oceans for people who wouldn't even jump puddles for you. And now you're on an emotional roller coaster. One day you're up, next day you're down. 7 a.m., you high, sitting on top of the world. 3 p.m., you low to the flow. You got to get a handle on your emotions, right? Your happiness can't just be based on what's happening. You got to have some joy in your life. And hear me, your joy can't specifically emanate from other people. If people are the source of your joy, you need to check your source. Because now you're making a resource the source. God's got to be the source of your joy. Right? You got to do the internal checking of your emotions. A lot of times, hear me, we're dealing with emotional baggage because we have not identified our traumas and our triggers. We have not taken the time to literally do an inductive study and look interpersonally into the childhood pains, into the things of the past that we have tried to blockade, that we tried to bury, but we have not literally addressed head on and even identified. And now we wonder why relationships don't work. Why our connections are like two ships passing in the night. Like you can't seem to target what's supposed to be right or what's supposed to be wrong, or even the right type of people, because now you become the target. Because here it is, you don't attract what you want, but now you attract who and what you are. Because you have not sifted through that emotional baggage. You got to get rid of that junk, right? And stop recycling. Stop recycling when you ought to be renewing. You don't recycle what's renewed. You get rid of that so that you can find a place of renewal in your life. Recycling the same relationships. New face in the same place, same disposition. Not because of them, but because of you. You have to do the change. Right? We talked about 4 tips to improve any relationship. Number 1, learning to forgive, as I said before. Number 2, free yourself from emotional baggage. Thirdly, now, work on overcoming your insecurities. This is a serious one now. This is a serious one. You know, we have a lot of insecurities, no matter how tough you want to be, no matter how much you want to portray, no matter how many filters you want to put on your social media post or your photo. We have our insecurities. This is what you can't do. You can't allow insecurities to become a liability. Right? You got to love the skin that you're in. You have to not look at your life through the lens of what's wrong. You have to see the greatness of you. Nobody can beat you being you. You got to be comfortable being yourself. Embrace your voice tone. Embrace the complexion of your skin. Whether you're long, hair is short, or hair is long. Small size, mid size, large size, whatever size that you are. We all have things that we can work on. Right? Are you willing to put in the sweat equity? Are you willing to get better so that insecurity doesn't have a handle on you? And now you bring those insecurities into relationships because you're not comfortable with you. You can't expect anybody to love you if you don't love yourself. You can't expect anybody to enjoy your own company if you don't enjoy your own company. Right? Insecurities, hear me, should not paralyze you. They should mobilize you. Because you're not placing all your confidence in yourself. Right? They should mobilize you to become authentically you. Right? It's about finding your authentic voice. It's about living your authentic life. Not allowing the insecurity of somebody saying that you had a big nose and you've been carrying that pain of what somebody said when you were 7 and now it's 30 years later and you're still carrying that pain. Rather than you leaping into your destiny, now it's causing you to limp. As a matter of fact, it's causing you to be stagnant. It's causing you to be paralyzed rather than be mobilized. Nobody has it all. Right? And even some of the people who you feel are the most beautiful, the people who you feel are the most charming, the people who you feel the smartest, the most gifted, the most talented, have insecurities of their own too. Right? You got to see that the insecurity keeps you in check to where you just don't rely on yourself. But here it is, you know, greater is he that's within you than he that's in the world. You can push past the insecurity and still be the best you that you can possibly be. You gotta see that. And one of the ways that you work on overcoming your insecurities is important based upon you affirming yourself. If you keep telling yourself that you're not good, if you keep telling yourself that you're ugly, if you keep telling yourself that nobody wants you, nobody wants to be your friend, all your relationships are bad, woe is me, stinking thinking, terrible talking. I like that one. I just came up with that one. Stinking thinking, terrible talking. Right? You got to get a handle on it. And you got to switch up your language. Right? People always ask you, what's your love language? Is it acts of kindness, gift giving, quality time, words of affirmation, whatever it is, right? You've got to change your language to a language of love. No matter what anybody thinks your love language is, don't matter you even knowing what your love language is, if you don't have a language of love that lifts your life. Listen, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. You got to start telling yourself what God says about you. Tell yourself that you're more than a conqueror. Tell yourself that you're handsome, bruh. Tell yourself that you're beautiful, sis. Call yourself a king, bruh. Call yourself a queen, sis. Right? Tell yourself that you can do it. Tell yourself that you're going to be successful. Tell yourself that your dream is going to come to fruition. Right? And then now place yourself around people who begin to reflect what you say, who begin to reflect what you think. And matter of fact, you won't even have to force yourself to be around those people. Those people are going to be instantly attracted to you. Your future, your funeral is on the tip of your tongue. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. What you say is going to be what's conveyed. What you profess is going to be what you possess. Your words create your world. What you speak into the atmosphere will appear. And hear me, you got to get it up here. And it's got to flow out of here. You got to get to it. You got to overcome that insecurity. And you overcome it by affirming who it is that you are. Affirm yourself so much to where now your life begins to live up to what you say. Listen, it's worked enough. You called yourself a failure too many times, and guess what? You failed. You said that you were going to be heartbroken over and over again. You sang the heartbroken love songs. And now your life reflected that. Switch up the game. Switch up the language. It was what we say, code switch, right? Code switch your language to a language of love, and you'll see your life and your relationships go to the next level. I hope you've been getting something so far. 4 tips to improve your relationships. I'm coming around the mountain. Here I come. Here's my last one. But we talked about learning to forgive. You talked about freeing yourself from emotional baggage, overcoming your insecurities. And then number 4, don't avoid internal issues. Oh boy, listen, for your relationships to improve, you got to get your house in order. Got to get your house in order. We can't avoid the internal issues that we have. Listen, the word issues, I dare you, I double dare you, I triple dare you. Say it 3 times. Issues, issues, issues. And keep on saying it. Keep on saying it. Issues, issues, issues. You're gonna mess up and say it's you. You say issues enough, I guarantee you'll see that it's you. It's not them. A lot of times we put the blame, we put the onus on other people, right? You know, I heard people say, hey, listen, they had to break it up with somebody. It's not you, it's me, right? When are we really going to internalize that and actually believe it? We can't avoid our internal issues. We have to say, yes, you know what? My father not being in my life, that hurt. The person who abused you and misused you and stabbed you, not only in the back, but in front of your face, that hurt. I'm not going to even act like it didn't. I'm going to stop trying to say, I don't catch feelings, I just catch flights. No, it hurts your feelings. Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's a lie. The words hurt, right? And as a result of it, you've internalized those words, and now you live your life based upon those words that did hurt you. Somebody told you what you can't do because they didn't do it, and now you did not absolve yourself from it, but you allowed that to become the litmus test for your life. Can't avoid those internal issues. This is what you got to do. You've got to find diamonds in your damage. It doesn't matter how bad it's been in your life. What you've been through, yes, I understand it was painful, but it can become purposeful. What you've been through, yes, it was painful, but you got to use it to become purposeful. What you went through wasn't punishment. It was preparation for your destination. If I only stood in the same place and space of my cancer diagnosis, 2022 marks 22 years of being cancer free. If I only stayed where I was and blame shifted and just got mad because my dad didn't show up and stayed mad. And yes, I was mad. If I only stayed bitter because of it. If I only stayed bitter at the people I thought were praying for me, but not praying, people I thought were praying for me, but were really praying on me. Sitting on the sideline expecting my demise. People I thought would be there in the valley, but only want to show up on the mountaintop. then I'd be a bitter brother. But no, I'm a better brother, because I didn't allow what was supposed to break me to break me. Right? What was intended to destroy me, you got to use it to develop you. And I used it to develop me. Right? I was able to find diamonds in my damage. I was able to sift through all the junk and find the jewel. And you got to do it too. You can't avoid the internal issues. You got to work through what's happened to you. Dr. Sigmund Freud said we are in adulthood what we have experienced in childhood. And until we remedy ourselves from the vestiges of our past, our future will look like our past. It'll be emblematic and symbolic of our past, because we'll presently live out our past even in the future. This is your day to get a handle on it. This is your day to free yourself from the emotional baggage. This is the day to do the inventory and to not avoid the internal issues, but to address it. How can you address what you won't confess? How can you heal from what you won't deal with? You avoided it long enough. And hear me, as much as you try to avoid it, the situation will not avoid you. Your relationships will be a mirror reflection of what you tried to avoid until you address it head on. And more than anything, especially us as brothers, we got to do it. We got to do the work. We can't just see healing as just what's needed and necessary for our sisters. We can't just see just dealing with trauma and triggers as just for something for the women to do. No, healing is for all of us. Healing is for us as brothers as much as it is for our sisters. We got to do the work if we expect our relationships to work. Listen, I hope you were inspired. I hope you were edified, of course, with the 4 tips to improve any relationship. Listen, I want you to make sure that you stay connected to my social circle. Definitely stay connected. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You know we don't stop. Of course, if you liked anything that you heard, you're going to love everything that you see in our academy. Join it even right now. Faith, identity, relationships, speaker training, financial empowerment, so much more when you step into our digital doors. Right at dreddieacademy.com. I'd love to see your face in our digital space. I know it's going to lead you. I know it's going to lift you. Listen, we're going to love you to another level. Stay empowered, stay encouraged, stay edified. Yours truly, Dr. Eddie. Peace and love. I'll see you next time.